Adding color to your improvisation should feel organic. It should not feel necessarily like a decoration. That's showing off your skill if you're going to just use it as decorations, and of course we all like to do that, right, at times. But if you save it for the right place with the right intention, then it feels earned and it helps create an emotion to the song and for the listener, as opposed to just being an embellishment. And that's what we're really talking about here. In Amazing Grace, I can be very selective about how I build the song with these colors and embellishments, right? Now, we've talked about changing the harmony. That's part of adding the color. But what kind of feel am I going to start with in the beginning? And that's very important. I'm not going to color too much. I could start right off, right, and lead into that hymn with a nice big feel, and there would be nothing wrong with that, and particularly if you were going to be playing for a congregation, you surely want that sort of rousing feel. But if we're playing solo and we're just thinking about improvising, the color that I want in the beginning is very reflective, maybe. You know, reflective about Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, right? We're going to talk when I put this together where I find these thoughts and lyrics. But for now, adding color, you notice how I doubled right there. I doubled that initial note because it sounds ping. It has a little bit more weight, but it's not heavy. It's not that, right? Or even, you know, it's just a little ping. I give the color of one little arpeggio there in the bass clef, just so that we have a little bit of motion going into the next da da da, right? Ba ba ba. Ba, 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 right? That gives us a feeling, you sort of in our souls and our bodies about what we're trying to say here. I roll that color because it feels a little bit more like grace, right? Amazing Grace. It sounds pretty, but again, it's not all over the keyboard. It's just conservatively here, right? Another ping, another doubling of the melody. All that is still soft, but you'll notice that I brought it down. I brought it down from being in the upper octaves down a little bit so that there's just a little bit more roundness to the feel. So, opening it up. So again, I'm opening it up, I'm bringing it more toward the center of the keyboard, I'm beginning to use all the different harmonizations to build the piece. But we start small, and we're still relatively small compared to where we're going to go. I can back off here. I start using my leading tones here to really start filling it up. You'll see that I'm much lower on the keyboard now to get a little bit more weight. Now, color, suspensions, and also some tension and anticipation here. That's what that key change is really creating. And if I wanted to do a big embellishment like that, now it would feel earned because we're about to go into something really big feeling, right? We started off very small. We started off very intimate. We brought it down on the keyboard. We began to use our octaves, use our chord changes more, and we are now really about to give them something bigger, right? So now I'm starting off with octaves. You could do complete octaves. Notice how now I'm really using the hands. I'm lifting them up, I'm moving them across the keyboard to give us more of that full concerto feel. Look at that. I just used some of the leading tones moving into there. Moving into that next melody to draw the viewer and listener, giving us motion, giving us more color to move into the melody. I'm not just concentrating there on the melody. So again, I'm keeping it big. You could start to pull it back now. You could even come back down. You could add a little ending here by going to that minor. Why not? So you could absolutely do that, and you could bookend the piece. You could start it with a certain color, certain small. You could build it, get very large, very concerto-like, very emotional, and then just pull it right back down, add maybe a little tag ending with those minor chords there, and bring us right back sort of to where we started, to a very peaceful spot. Adding color and adding all of those embellishments may be, in some people's mind, overplaying, but in other people's minds, it's going to be very emotionally moving. And if you have done it in such a way to where you have earned all of those embellishments, to where you're serving the piece with all of those embellishments, then you're going to create a winning improvisation.